Now that was a ride. What?
Alright guys, today we're going to be having a discussion about Days Gone. Specifically, I want to talk about why fans are seemingly so upset about the recent news that a Days Gone 2 was pitched to Sony, and Sony, for one reason or another, rejected that pitch. And so it's looking likely that we are not going to be getting a sequel to Days Gone anytime soon. I know that a lot of people are still holding out hope that maybe this report was wrong, or even if it was correct, that maybe in the future we will see Days Gone return, which is always possible. But the reason why I want to talk about this is because I absolutely loved Days Gone. And I've been talking for a little while now about the silver lining with all of this. That silver lining being that Sony Ben is still perfectly intact. They're apparently working on their biggest game ever. It's going to be a new IP, and apparently they've been working on it since sometime in 2019, so we might not have to wait nearly as long to see what this game is as maybe we first thought. That's definitely a very positive thing there, right? But I have to talk about my personal disappointment in the fact that apparently this isn't going to happen. I mean, I'm saying it like it's a fact. We don't know for sure. It is based off of reports. Sony has not confirmed or denied it. So we really don't know, but it seems likely that this is, the case. So look, when it comes to Days Gone, for those of you who've been with the channel since the time this game released, you know how excited I was for this game. I talked about this game in a very positive way. I even remember making a video way back titled Days Gone is going to prove everyone wrong. And what I was doing was kind of just pushing back against some of the negativity that surrounded the game and trying to really prop it up and, not necessarily get people's expectations too high, but just based off of what I had seen of the game, I really felt like this is going to be something special. Like this is going to be the next big PlayStation exclusive, right? And it's really going to just, I think, blow people away. So, a lot of people thought I made that video at the time because I was a fanboy. Like, no, I made that video because I was very excited for this game, and I genuinely believe that. We all know what happened after that. The game came out, and critically, it just didn't really do as good as we were expecting. Clearly, it didn't do as good as Sony was expecting it to. I think it's sitting at a 71 on Metacritic, but I specifically remember at the time I was baffled because I was reading these reviews, specifically some reviews from like GameSpot and IGN, and some of the reasoning they were giving for why they scored the game so low, like a 5 out of 10, I just wasn't agreeing with. Some of it was frankly just nonsense. It didn't really have much to do with the game. There were people who were having issues with this game when it launched because of the amount of bugs and glitches that needed to be patched. It's weird for me to hear that because I bought the game day one, played it day one, put many hours into it before the first major patch, and I didn't have any of these issues. I didn't have any major glitches or bugs. I'm not saying that that means they don't exist or didn't exist or that people didn't experience it, because I certainly believe they did. Maybe I just got really lucky. But surely you can understand why I just don't really look back at a game like Days Gone and think, man, what a buggy, glitchy experience, because that wasn't my experience. In fact, one of the videos I made was, I think it was titled something along the lines of, what are these reviewers thinking? And I was basically just coming out to defend this game, being like, I've been playing this game and I wasn't finished it yet, but I'm like, this game's amazing. This game is doing so many great things. And I even said that, look, and I can still say, I understand why some people maybe are totally okay not getting a Days Gone 2, and maybe are even more excited about getting a new IP. In fact, I put out a poll on my channel, asking you guys to vote. What would you prefer from Sony Ben? A brand new game or a Days Gone sequel? And to my surprise, 63% of you voted for a brand new game, and 37% of you voted for a Days Gone sequel. Now that's based off of 18,000 votes, so in my opinion, that's quite a few. What's interesting about this to me is the timing of it. I put this poll out after we learned about this, so maybe it's easier to hit a brand new game, to click on a brand new game and maybe forego a Days Gone sequel, because we know now apparently it's not going to happen. But I was surprised to see that. In my opinion, both of these things are good. But it still is disappointing to me that, you know, so many people apparently look at Days Gone and they just think it's a generic game, you know, it's something that doesn't deserve a sequel. I see some people, you know, still to this day, oh, it's trash and whatnot, and clearly these are people who have not played it. But I totally understand that maybe it's just not everybody's cup of tea. I do understand that maybe there are people who play Days Gone and are like, this is just too generic. I'm tired of the zombie games. You know, it's another open world that's doing all of the same things, or a lot of the same things that other open world games do. But to me, that was never really the point of it, right? Like, the point is what Days Gone is doing. I think it's doing really well. I'm not saying it was the perfect game. And even when I was talking about it when it came out, for as much as I did love it, I even admitted it then, that it's far from a perfect game. But what I loved most about Days Gone was not only just the experience. I thought that the story was great. I enjoyed the story. It was interesting. The different factions, you know, the different characters. I thought Deacon St. John was a cool character. I like the fact he was searching for his wife, and then it turns into something beyond that as you get further into the story. It was a really good time. But what I loved most is the amount of potential that was there. Like, for something to really be fleshed out here in an even bigger way, in an even more significant way. And I was just very impressed with Sony Ben's ability to be able to produce such a great game, you know, that it's pretty much their first time making a AAA game. I mean, I know that they've made Siphon Filter in the past, but it was a really long time since they made a proper AAA game. And I understand that this game was in development for a very long period of time. I'm sure that there were some serious development struggles. I'm sure that it was a nightmare at some point during points of development. We know that that's just kind of how it goes. And to think that maybe that's one of the reasons why a sequel wasn't greenlit is depressing to me, because I feel like the foundation is here. You know, I really did believe for the past 2 years that Days Gone 2 was in active development. I really did believe this. It just seemed so obvious what they could do with the horde mechanic on the PS5, right? How much more they could just flesh out the world and all of the different things that could exist inside of this world. The different ways the story could branch, right? I mean, the game, if you got, you know, the proper ending, it ended on a cliffhanger. And it's seeming like we're just never going to know what it leads to, right? And that's always depressing in and of itself. But to me, that was the thing that stood out the most about Days Gone, is the amount of potential that was there. And I certainly did not agree with a lot of people who were talking about Days Gone when it launched and saying, you know, it's a terrible game, it's not good, or it's very mediocre. Like, it's not a 5 out of 10 game. It's not a 5 out of 10 game. Like, I don't care what anybody says, it's not. Go play Days Gone. Go play it all the way through. I highly, highly doubt you're going to walk away saying, yeah, this is a 5 out of 10 game. You may not believe it's like a 9 out of 10, maybe not even an 8 out of 10, but it's certainly not a 5 out of 10. And so I don't necessarily agree with the way, you know, people talked about this game, reviewers specifically, and I feel like that may have played a significant role in why we're not seeing a Days Gone 2. What makes this whole situation even more depressing to me is we recently learned what Days Gone 2 potentially could have been, as we have an ex-Sony Ben lead talking about Days Gone and how it apparently was set to feature a shared universe with co-op. And if you played Days Gone, you know that it was a perfect game for something like that. Some people I saw responding negatively to this, they were like, maybe it's a good thing Sony didn't greenlight this, you know, because that sounds bad or whatever. I don't think that sounds bad. I understand that maybe for some people that would have kind of ruined the single player aspect of it, which I know a lot of people really loved, but I don't know. It seemed like there were just so many things that apparently they wanted to do with a sequel, and they're not going to. I also want to add in here that another reason it seems extremely unlikely we're going to see Sony Ben ever return to the Days Gone IP is because, two of the studio heads left some time ago, and these were the two people that were mainly responsible for Days Gone. Again, that doesn't mean we could never see it, but it's just seeming very unlikely. I do want to say, though, that there is one big positive, or another big positive here that we can take from this that I think is worth kind of celebrating in a way. And for those of you who are listening who have stayed this long, well, first of all, thank you. But this means you must really care about Days Gone, right? If you sat here and listened to this video this long. We can look at Days Gone and all of the things that we enjoyed about it, all of the things that we thought were really good, the open world, just the gameplay, the story, whatever, the building of the characters and just everything about the game. Whatever they do next, all of that's going to be applied. So it may not be Days Gone 2. It may not be set in the Days Gone universe. We may not hear from Deacon St. John ever again, or Boozer, but whatever they did for this game, they're going to most likely do an even better job with their next game, assuming it's, somewhat similar in the fact that, they're going to have to create new characters, they're going to have to create a new world. But again, there's just so much potential here, in my opinion, that is now just lost. It reminds me of the Order 1886 a little bit, but I do think that Days Gone was certainly a better game fundamentally than the Order 1886. I think that the Order 1886 had more flaws that were more easily that just made it easier to pick apart the game. I feel like Days Gone, there's just more here that was, more refined. It reminds me of that, where it's like there's just so much here, and like if they just are given another opportunity to really do something, like they're going to knock it out of the park. I mean, there were a lot of people when Uncharted 1 came out, they thought that game was really rough around the edges. They thought this Uncharted game, it's overrated. It's really not that great. Like, it's got a lot of flaws. And, you sit here and you think, what if Sony rejected Uncharted 2? What would have happened after that? And I get a little bit sad thinking that, is this what we're seeing with Days Gone? I hope not. But I definitely just had to take some time to talk about this. It's a little bit of a different video, I know, but I feel like we don't have enough of these discussion videos, and I just felt it was necessary for me to talk about why I'm disappointed that we're not getting a Days Gone 2. I really enjoyed the game. I liked everything they did with it, almost everything. It wasn't a perfect game, but I platinumed it. I spent easily over 100 hours playing it, and I felt like I kind of got invested in it a little bit. I got invested in the characters and everything that was there. And, now it's just something that's not going to apparently exist anymore. So, yeah, I mean, it'll always be there, and I'll always be thankful for the game. I think that Sony Ben did an incredible job with it. And I am certainly very, very enthusiastic and very confident in what they're going to do next. And so, yeah. That's pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. I just, again, had to take some time to talk about this. So leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm going to be interested to see what you have to say. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know why or why not. Leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.